Hey there, friends. Welcome to Bronze Medal Moms. We aren't going for gold, we're going for bronze on the daily. I'm Amy.
And I'm Amanda, and we are here to remind you that you don't have to be perfect to show up, survive, and even thrive in motherhood. Hey, Bronze Medal Moms. Last week we tackled dealing with holiday stress. So if you missed it, go check it out because holiday stress won't go away, but we can lessen it. So, Amy, what is up this week?
Oh, this week is so super special because we are interviewing J.M. Jackson, the author of the book Dear Diary, Letters to My Daughter, which is a true, honest book written especially for moms and daughters for those times when we feel like we don't have the words, but we have all the feelings.
It's inspiring, it's honest, and it's the perfect stocking stuffer for our preteen and teen daughters. You're going to love hearing from the author herself. It's so heartwarming. So sit back and listen. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and leave us a review. Wait a second, Amy, is that a new sweatshirt? Because you're looking like the coziest chaos queen I've ever seen.
Well, thank you. I actually got it from this new exclusive brand, Bronze Medal Moms. Have you ever heard of it?
Oh, that's so weird because I also happen to have this adorable mug that says Bronze Medal Moms.
Stop. I heard that one's limited edition. It's only available to moms who survive school drop off without crying or cussing.
So, like, six of us.
Exactly.
Seriously, though, guys, our Bronze Medal Moms merch is now officially available.
Yes, our listeners asked for it and we delivered.
Our sweatshirts and tees are so comfy, funny, and perfect for moms who are proud to make it to the podium but don't need that spotlight.
And our cereal for dinner cloth bag is a must have for all.
I love that one. So grab your sweatshirt, trucker hats, or a mug and wear it proudly and let everyone know you're doing okay and that's enough.
And give a gift for that next holiday party. We even have scented candles that are perfectly usable but very hilarious.
So shop now before we forget to restock.
All right. Hey, Amanda.
Hey, Miss Amy, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Moving right along, loving life,
So, I have a quick question for you because we have a very special guest, but I want to start with a question.
Okay, lay it on me.
Did you keep a diary growing up?
Oh, absolutely.
Did
But it
you?
was less a Dear Diary and more like a Dear Evidence Exhibit A because my mom definitely read it. My mom and my sister definitely read it.
Oh, I always forget you have a sister. Okay.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I did not keep one. I love the idea of them. And in true Amy fashion, I would buy the cutest, prettiest because I really love office supplies and journals. And I would do it solidly for like 2 days and then I was done. And then that was it.
Oh, mine even had a key to it. You know that one that had a
Oh,
tiny, tiny
yeah.
little key?
Oh, yeah.
But I was so worried about losing the key and then, not having access to that important information. So I just kept the key in the lock so that it was just there all the time.
Oh, that tracks. That tracks. Well, if teenage us knew what adult us would say on a podcast, one, we'd probably both be grounded, but I don't think we would have cared if anyone saw our diary because that's basically what we do on this podcast.
1000%, which makes today's episode perfect.
Yes. So today's guest is one of my absolute favorite humans. She is a brilliant storyteller. She's an incredible teacher and a dear friend. And her book that she has written is actually called Dear Diary, Letters to My Daughter.
Love
So
it.
welcome, Jay Jackson, to Bronze Medal Moms.
Hi guys, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We are so excited for you to be here. So
This book is amazing. Like it takes you back to messy, hilarious, and sometimes heartbreaking moments of growing up, and it's all told through your deeply personal letters that you started writing back in high school. Is that right?
Yes, like what was I thinking? Like when you say it like that, what was I thinking? Putting it all on paper. Yeah, in I think the earliest letter that I can remember writing was 10th grade. So what are you? 15,
Yeah.
16,
So
maybe.
that's how long you knew, like you were like, this is going to be amazing. I need all my thoughts to
No,
go down on paper.
no, not even. I was just so emotional and I needed somewhere to put all the information. So I grew up an only child. And so not, I had tons of friends and all of that, but there were a lot of times I felt super isolated. And
Mm.
so writing was just a way for me to share some of the things that I didn't feel comfortable sharing, out loud. So no, it was not going to be beautiful at first. It was literally just the messiest, most embarrassing things I could think about. And I wrote them down on paper. And that's how we started.
Did you
But
have like organization or was it all post-it notes?
Literally, I don't even think it was posts. I think it was like scribbles and just like notes of like, this boy really made me mad today, or I can't believe she said this. And I think toward the end of high school, I started to realize like, hey, you kind of have a knack for this. Like you are a pretty good storyteller in the sense of just when I would tell stories in general, like playing things back to friends and family, I could see how enthralled they were. And I loved that. And I was like, maybe I could really do this. And I think when I graduated high school is when I realized, like, okay, you're going into college. It's about to get real. And I just wish, I remember having a random thought, like, man, I wish somebody would have told me this. Like, I wish I
Mm.
could have talked to my mom about a lot of this. And my mom had me in like her mid 30s, and so there was a huge like generational gap there. And so she was amazing. Like my parents are still amazing, super super supportive, but there was just a things were different, right? Like I grew up when Facebook was invented, like social media was coming out. There were just a lot of things that were different. And there were a lot of things I couldn't go to her and ask, or at least I didn't think that I could go to her and ask. So I'm sure that this book might not have happened if I just would have had the courage to go and ask her things, but I didn't. And so I realized like I wish somebody had told me, and I don't want to be the kind of mom that like maybe waits for my daughter to tell me or that is too scared to talk to her. And so that's kind of where the title of Letters to My Daughter came from, because originally they were just going to be letters to my own daughter. And I figured, well, I bet somebody else's daughter could use this. And so that's kind of how it came about.
well, I love what you just said because our listeners know I have an only child. You
Mm-hmm.
know her. I
Mm-hmm.
also was an older mom. I had her at 36.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny when you said generational gap. I was like, no, I'm a young, hip, cool mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adelaide's like rolling her eyes right now, right? But
Jay, I had my youngest at 41. I'm rocking this.
But it's like what you said. I am sure your mom thought, like, no, you can come to me with anything.
Yes.
Come to me. I want Adelaide to come to me, but it may
Yes.
not be anything I'm doing that I can control where she doesn't come to me.
Right.
Exactly. It was never like my mom did anything or didn't do anything. It was me thinking, right? Like I'm sure your kids think they don't know what's going on.
Right.
Like
Right.
they're old or whatever. Like they don't know what's going on. And but she did. And if I had just went and asked her, I probably could have gotten a lot of answers to
Yeah.
some questions.
But I love it. I mean, you even say in the book, like you have so just so our listeners know, the way the book
Hmm.
is laid out, it is
Hmm.
individual, like letters. And I
Hmm.
love
Like
how,
each chapter is a letter. It's so
yeah,
cool.
and
Yes.
it's a kind of a theme or a topic for each one. And so
Correct.
I'll just use my favorite, one of my favorite ones as an example. It says add tax. Okay. And it's
Oh,
like,
Yeah.
I love that one. That was my
yeah,
favorite.
to a girl who deserves it all. And then you write the letter
Hmm.
and then you end it like, know your worth, then add tax. Love you. And it's all like
Hmm.
the life.
I read that and I want to knit that on a pillow.
I know, right? It's so good. But you do have a chapter like on your dad and your mom. And you said, like,
Hmm.
listen, they were both present. They were great parents. My dad
Yep.
went to all the things and danced with me at the father-daughter
Yes, he
dance, and
did.
mom was there. And so they didn't do anything because I think a lot of
No.
times parents think, oh crap, like we've done something, but you're right. You're like, if
And
they
it's
No.
different personalities. You're dealing with different personalities in your children. And then also, you're dealing with your different personalities about how you were raised or how your mother was raised by your grandmother all that is
Exactly.
playing into, like we say this all the time on our podcast, you got to lower the bar. You're doing the best you can. Do the best you can because you're going to fail at some things and you're going to rock other things, but as long as you're doing the best you can. And I think there's such a relief that comes when you realize that your parents were literally doing the best they could, but then
Yes.
there's some things you're like, "Oh, but this is what I would do differently. This is what I would
Literally,
do to change."
I was literally thinking about this as I was preparing to come on the podcast is at my age, so I'm 33. My mom had me at 34. And I was thinking, I have no idea what's going on. Like she just one day, like, in a
Yeah.
year from now, had a baby and had to figure it out, right? And
Yeah.
my parents both were born and grew up right on the tail end of segregation, right? So, like, life
Wow.
was completely different for them. They
Yeah.
didn't have this space to kind of worry about feelings and emotions when you're trying to figure some other stuff out. So I think oftentimes people who write books like this, they have a tumultuous relationship with their parents, right? Their
Yeah.
parents weren't like, or maybe one was absent or like, no, they were both still very, very present. It's just there were a lot, like you said, they were raised in a different time. They had to raise me in a different time and trying to balance that, it's just tough.
I think it normalizes it too that we can be these great present parents and our kids still aren't going to come to us with everything.
No.
Yep.
But they need an outlet or something like this book to
Mm-hmm.
read. And, maybe not now. Adelaide's only 12, maybe, because you do have a few topics in here. Like you talk about losing your virginity and sex and should I wait?
Mm-hmm.
The sex talk. So maybe
Which
we
I love that. We have a whole podcast episode about the sex talk, but that chapter on your virginity I thought was fascinating. And I was like, what a
Thank
one
you.
I you just did such a great job of not saying what to do, what not to do, what not judging, just
period.
saying what is important. And what's important is
Thank
your
you. Thank
self-worth.
you.
And I
I
thought it was really good that I'm like, oh, I can't wait for you to read this later on in life.
thank
Well, that's
you.
the thing. Like, it could be a resource. Like, okay, there's going to be some things in here, Adelaide, that you're not going to want to talk to me about. I'm here for you. I would love for you to talk to me about them, but I know you're not. It's
Or
like,
And
even
I
like
think
knowing the right verbiage to say of like, I know sometimes I say something to Rue and I'm like, I don't know that that just came out right.
and I think what you both just
Yeah, but
said is really the point of why I wrote the book. It was because sometimes it's icky, right? Like I no matter how close you are with your parents, no matter how open your mom is, she's like, talk to me, like I'm here, I'm the cool mom.
they're still your
Nobody really wants to go to their mom and talk about
yeah,
losing their
they're
virginity.
still
Like
mom.
it's weird. So my goal was that, right? You can just slide her the book and say, hey, read chapter so and so. I'll read chapter so and so, and then we'll talk about her experience. You don't have to tell me anything personal, but hopefully it could be, the springboard to having some of these really uncomfy conversations because it can get a bit sticky talking about it.
Yeah. So you published the book in 2023, I
I
believe.
did.
When, though, did you realize or did it click that all these letters you had kind of written to yourself could actually be a book?
I will say probably my freshman year of college
Oh,
because freshman year, life was coming at me fast.
yeah.
Life was coming at me really fast. You're living, and keep in mind, grew up an only child. So it had just been me and my parents for 18 years. And so you go to college and you're hit with the boys and the friendships and just like being an adult on your own. And there was just a lot of stuff that I felt unprepared for. I felt naive in a sense. And not that I was sheltered, but generally speaking, I was a good kid. So, I wasn't like going out, getting in trouble. Like I didn't do a
You weren't
lot of
sex in high school. I know that.
no, absolutely. You know
You were
that from
not.
the book.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
not. I was
You're not.
not. I waited a really long time. I
Yeah.
didn't drink, didn't smoke. So like life was coming at me really fast. And I just remember feeling like I can't be the only one, right? I
Yeah.
can't be the only one
Yeah.
who has no idea what is going on here. And so I think freshman year of college, I realized, but I will say, like, I wrote a few, I think they were like journal entries in high school, and then I started to restructure them in college. I did not finish writing the book until I turned 30.
Okay.
which is
Wow.
insane, right? I started, let's say, at 15 and didn't finish until I was 30. And there were a lot of letters that didn't make the cut. There were some things that I added, but at 30, I felt I had grown into the person that I thought I was, if that makes sense. Like at 30, stuff, yeah, everybody said it, right? Something happens in your, like when you hit 30, like I think figured a lot of it out. I
Hmm.
Wait till you
became
hit
who I
40. It's even better.
Oh, I can't wait. I mean, I can
It's
wait, but I
so
can't
great.
wait because everybody says you're 40s, like you don't care anymore. You just
That's
like
right.
Ew, it's
live
so
your life.
awesome.
And I still care a little bit. So I can't wait to get to that point. But I definitely felt like a lot of the questions I had in this book, I had answered. And
Mhm.
so I knew by 30 I had to finish it. And
Yeah.
that's why, if you notice, there are only 30 letters because that felt complete to me.
Oh, I love
Oh,
that.
I love that.
I actually
Hmm.
think as you read it, I can kind of tell how you
Grew?
grew, but also became more, I don't know if confidence the word, but more sure of yourself, maybe.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I was saying confidence and yeah, being sure of who you are and who you want to be.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
And I love how universal it is. Like the one letter you end with saying, boys will be boys and bad boys will be worse. Like,
That's my favorite line. I think that's my
I'm
favorite
like,
line in the book.
if that does not hit home, we all love a bad boy. We've all
Don't we?
for the bad boy.
Oh my gosh.
I tell
Man, it's
Rue all the time. I tell her, I said, don't even pay attention. Don't even pay attention to
okay,
them.
but that's so
But that's
hard
you
because
know
Ugh.
you're gonna fall for the bad boy. You just have to learn that those you don't marry the bad boys.
No.
right.
My mom always told me growing up, because my mom was really like, she would tell me she loved the movie Grease. And she would
Mm,
tell me if I ever wanted to bring home a Danny Zuko, like I could. She loved her some,
She's like, bring them on.
no,
but she would
truly.
tell me, she's like, that's the boy you make out with. That's not the boy you marry.
Exactly. And that, I think that's it. But they're just like, it's just, they're so appealing. So you
Yeah,
know they're gonna, right? So you know the girls are gonna bring one home. Y'all just have that chapter bookmarked.
I
So
do.
then
I
when they
got,
come,
I
you can
got it
just
done.
slide it to them.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
goodness.
I do. I really love it. But was there a particular letter that was either hard to write or you were nervous including it in the book, but you knew you needed to?
It's so funny because that one.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, for a number of reasons. There were a few, but
Yeah.
I'll start with that one. That one was one of the more difficult ones because,
The bad boy one?
yes,
Okay.
because he was like my first, okay, and right, like within a reason, my first love, right? Who
Right.
knows? I didn't know anything at 15,
First
but
infatuation.
But
that's what it is.
Call
Oh
it
my
that.
I mean,
gosh.
you can say that looking back. At 15, you were like, this is love. Like,
Yeah.
This is
You
no,
think
at
that's what it is.
15,
right.
15 me, you couldn't have convinced me I wasn't in love with him. But that one was the hardest to write because I talk a little bit in the book about essentially, for those of you who have not read, essentially there's a terrible rumor that he starts about me in a room full of
Mm.
people. In high school, mind you, right? Where there's like a hive mind. So he
Yeah.
starts this rumor. And my best friend, I remember saying, is always the bearer of bad news. And she has to come and tell me what he said in a room full of people. And I remember sitting in the cafeteria and I can tell this story because that's how clear it is still in my mind.
Mm.
She tells me and like the room stops. It freezes and I am just like devastated by finding out what he has said because it's a very
And
intimate
in front of everybody.
and in front of a room full of people and it's a very
Oh.
intimate secret that rumor that he starts. And as she's telling me, I watch him walk into the cafeteria and he looks at me and I look at him and he knows that I know. And it is just like I just remember how heartbroken I felt. And then the entire like it felt like the entire school proceeds to then mock me by
Mm.
making like hand signals and I see them talking about me. And so that one was really hard to write because of how devastating it felt then and how much I know that I'm not the only young woman who a rumor has been started by a boy
Yeah.
about them. And so I knew I had to tell it though because I'm not the only one and somebody else needed to see how even though it was so hurtful, I kept showing up. I
But
kept going to school. I kept showing up and they need to see that.
yeah, yeah, because I think especially nowadays, it's so easy for kids to be like, no, I don't want to do that. No, I want to quit. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, it's hard. I'm going to skip it. I'm going to quit. Right? Like, no, you keep showing up. You
You
keep
So I
have
will
to
say
keep
this.
showing.
I have an interesting take on this because my high school sweetheart started a rumor and I was just livid. But I
Mm-hmm.
also think it didn't last long because everybody knew it wasn't true. That wasn't like me. But years later, he apologized and was like, I'm really sorry. That was such a crappy thing to do." And my response to him was, yeah, but you were just a kid doing what you thought was right too. Like, it was just really hard. Growing up was hard. And
It is
so it was an interesting dynamic of knowing that like quote unquote bad boy hurt that you got, but then realizing that they were just human too. Still didn't marry him, but
100%. And you know what? I'll be honest. And this is, that's I'm not perfect. It does make me feel a little bit better that he peaked in high school.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And
Yeah, I hope so
so
too.
I love that for me. But that one was hard. And I will say the other two that were really difficult were the ones about my parents.
Hmm.
Because how do I, how am I authentic to my experience
Mhm.
while also showing honor and respect to the two people who raised me, who did a fantastic job, right? Who still
Yeah.
support me. And writing a story that explains how even though they did all the things that they thought were right, they
Yeah.
made all of the decisions that they thought were right, they still didn't get it 100% right because I'm a completely different human than them with my own feelings and my own emotions. And so I was really nervous about writing those two because I did not want to do anything that would make them feel disrespected or hurt. And so those two were very scary to write, but I thought it was important to show.
I get that.
So, yeah, it was important to show that even when your parents do all the right things, like the ones who show up for all the things and
Oh,
support
yeah.
all the things and do like Amy knows they still come and support now,
Yeah, they
but
do. Yeah.
it
I
was,
Have your
yeah.
parents, they've both read the book, I
They
assume?
both I asked them to read it first, especially those two, to make sure before
Because
I
I
published
almost
it.
think as a parent, I second guess myself all the time of like, what am I? We make this joke all the time that I have all these prayers for my daughter Rue. I just pray for her. I have all these wants and hopes and dreams for her. And then when it comes to my two boys, I'm like, I don't know, just don't be an asshole. What do I
Right,
want
like
for you?
just
So
well,
literally.
I'm constantly stressing about did I do something right with her? Did I do something wrong? I honestly would love later in life to read like how'd I do?
Like
What
her
were your takes?
perspective. Which is why, if you look at the beginning, which is why I dedicated to my mom,
yeah.
Aw.
because I mean, she did not to toot my own horn, but she did a great job.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
Yeah, you look
wanted,
great.
right? I
Well,
wanted to honor them and but honor my own experience too.
I feel that because Steve and I did some like couples coaching a couple years ago. And a lot of it was like figuring out what our triggers are that then impact us communicating, right? And all of those triggers come from when you're a kid.
Yep.
Hmm.
My parents didn't even know I was doing it, but I felt guilty when the couples coach would say, like, okay, think of a memory that, when you're a kid, and I would think of something that my parents did, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't say that because my parents were great parents. Like, I can't, they would be mortified
Hmm.
if they knew I had this trigger from childhood, right? So
Yep.
I totally can see how that would be nerve-wracking, put it in a book. But I think as a parent reading your book, it was really important for me to know that you did have present great parents.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That made a
Hmm.
difference, right? That made
Yeah.
a difference because now I'm like, oh crap. Especially, I think we relate too because Adelaide's also an only child,
Hmm.
and I'm like, oh yeah, like okay, I could think I'm doing all the right things, but
And I mean,
still gonna
you
feel
are
well, yeah. It's
exactly.
not that I'm doing the wrong thing,
Yeah.
right?
And
Right.
she still may grow up and have some struggles because it's just like part of it, right? Like it's
Yeah.
just part of our own journey. So that those two are really, really difficult. But I think that it was necessary, especially with the chapter about my dad, because I think a lot of times when people write they write from a perspective of an absent father, right? Or, you know, like, and it,
Yeah.
yeah,
Especially if you're writing these types of topics. Especially like all
exactly,
the boy
right?
stuff, right? Like the bad boy, oh,
Exactly.
she must not have a dad around. She
Who
must not have
has
a
a
role
present
model.
father?
Right.
Exactly. Who has a present father and then still has, you know, 20 out of 30 chapters about boys.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
it happens.
A
So yeah,
girl. A girl does.
literally
Exactly.
a teenage girl. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, what do you hope? Let's say, young women, some high schoolers, they pick up your book, they read it. How do you hope they feel after reading Dear Diary?
I hope that they go, oh, so it wasn't just me, right? In high school, right? You remember that it feels your experience feels unique. It feels like nobody can understand. No, this is not happening to anyone else. It's only me.
Yeah.
And I hope that when they read in my book, they realize some of the details are specific to you, but in general, we've all felt insecure. We've all gotten our
Hmm.
heart broken. We've all felt unsure of ourselves. We've all lost friendships we thought we would have forever. We all have been rejected before. We all had to decide for ourselves, hopefully, when it was the right time to become intimate with a partner. We all had to figure that out for ourselves. And so I hope that when they read it, they realize it wasn't just them. And I hope that when they finish reading it, they feel like they're equipped with just a little bit more. And I hope that it encourages them to to speak to someone who's a little bit more knowledgeable, who has some more wisdom. And maybe it isn't their mom, right? Maybe their mom isn't around. But I think part of why I'm even an educator is because I hope to give kids who don't always feel super comfortable going to parents someone else in their life that they can go to,
Hmm.
for sure.
Well, and I think that's interesting too. So, little background about me. I lost my mom in 2020, so it'll be 5 years next month. And oh my goodness, like the second you lose your mom, you're like, I want to know all the questions. I should have asked every single question on the planet. I'm so curious about basically everything in your book. I wish I had like sat down with her and asked her all those things. But what I think is so interesting is, so I lost my mom when I was 39. So even, still young, but later, not terribly young. I was a mother myself. So what was interesting is when my mom passed, immediately I had friends of my mom's always commenting on my sister and I's posts, always sending us letters, sending my kids gifts, sending my godmother is really involved. And I love that I can show that part to my daughter of like, this is why I gave you the godparents I gave you. Because if you don't feel comfortable coming to me, I trust them to give you good advice. I trust you to go to
100%.
any of my friends and get good advice. And I trust them to only fill me in if it's something like dangerous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's
Exactly.
amazing how much of a community
Hmm.
people really do have that they don't realize they have all those people that are like, yes, I would love to talk to you. I'm here for you.
Hmm.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. So all the kids do come to you, maybe more so than you would like.
I agree. I
They do.
agree.
You
Sometimes
get all the feels all the time.
I know, and it's such a blessing and a curse because it's important to me. I tell parents all the time, it's my goal to be your kid's favorite. Like that, I work at it
Yeah.
all the time to be their favorite. So I want them to come to me with all the feels. Um, it just becomes a bit too much. And so I feel like if I have to decide, right? If I have to decide between all the feels and none, I'll take them all and I'll just deal with it. But it's just so important to me that kids have somewhere to bounce ideas off of. Like
Mhm.
oftentimes, I'll be honest, it's very rare that I'm giving them like actual advice. I'm literally just listening and being like, yeah, that sucks. Like I
Yeah. Yeah.
remember, like
And
And
I
sometimes
hate
that's all
that.
they need. They don't need,
Yeah.
like we talk about that all the time with, your spouse. A man's response is often to fix the problem. And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't need you to fix the problem. I just need you to tell me that that sucked.
yeah.
That's all I
I just
need.
need you to say that it sucks and like
Well,
I hate that for you.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Like, that's it.
that's
That's
it.
it.
And
That's all I needed.
that's kind of what you do in all your chapters in your book. You don't say, I mean, you actually say, I'm not telling you to do this or that.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I'm
I
just telling
think
you
too,
to start.
especially with the one, I was so there was a first draft of the book, right? When I would think I finished at like 26.
Yeah.
And then I went back when I realized, okay, like I'm ready to finish this and kind of wrap this part of my life up at 30. There was a bunch of rewrites because I had grown. I had seen more, I had experienced more. And so a lot of things just felt like I needed to change them. And I will say, the sex talk and losing your virginity were two that I went back specifically because it was important to me that when parents read this, no matter kind of what side of the fence you're on,
Yeah.
what's your perspective about it, whether it comes from a super religious place or it comes from zero religion at all, that they could read it and see that I am not telling any of their daughters what to do. I'm explaining my experience and telling you, get the facts for yourself.
Yeah.
Make this decision for yourself. That was super important to me because I think oftentimes, like for me when I was growing up, it was like, don't do it.
Hmm.
Okay, well
And it was just, that's it. That's
that
the advice.
that's
Right.
it. That's the advice.
Yeah.
And I think if I had had more conversations, I mean, and this is another thing that was super uncomfortable to write about, but it was so necessary, is just the how common for women a yeast infection is. I had never known that. I
Yeah.
had never had that conversation ever in life. And so I thought it was super important to just talk about that so that other young women at the time could go like, oh, something isn't wrong with me. But I
Yeah.
had never had a conversation about anything when it came to like women's health.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I was gonna say there's lots of stuff about the vagina that are so taboo
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
that we all deal with.
And that you
Every
assume
single
is, and you assume makes you different.
Yeah.
Assume it makes you
Like, why are
weird.
we not
exactly.
talking about this? Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is my biggest, I think I even say like it's one of my
It-
favorite topics. I love talking about the vagina and like women's health and sex. It's super important because it's so taboo. And I think if more young women were able to have a conversation, it's like it's not taboo. This is very, very normal.
Yeah.
These feelings are very normal. It would just eliminate a lot of things that they go through for sure.
And what I love about it, and you kind of alluded to it in the chapters about that, is it kind of gives us our power back.
Hmm.
In that oftentimes young women do it because their partner wants them to,
Yes.
or
They
even,
feel like that's the, they're supposed to. It's the next step.
right, or even, at my age, I'm 48, I've been married 100 years. There are other women who are in my same stage of life that I learn have never had an orgasm, or I'm like, wait, what? Wait a minute. What?
Girl, what
Yeah,
are you
and they're just like
doing?
doing it because their husband wants them to. I'm like, whoa, listen, Linda, we got to talk. Like,
I literally
You're
have
missing
said,
out.
but I think that
I'm like
stems from all the taboo around it,
a
not
hundred percent,
not
a
looking at it, not
hundred percent.
talking, yeah, and not understanding it.
That's why it was so important
Yeah.
to even just broach the topic. And obviously, right, like there are conversations that you have about it at 15 that are very different than you have at 30 and,
Yeah,
45
totally.
and 50, 100%. But I think we have to lay the groundwork for young women that this is not even your period. Why are we hiding that? Why
Right.
are we like, you need to stick it in a bag and like put it in your
No.
pocket and like run
Look,
it?
I feel you. And I have to say, I'm not going to let Adelaide listen to this episode now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm going to say she would be mortified. But you're right. I'm not talking to Adelaide at 12 years old about orgasms. But
Right.
when she was little, she was like 5, 4, 5. I remember walking in, she was laying on the floor watching a cartoon, and she was like rubbing her privates on a pillow. And I'm like, oh, okay, she's doing that because it feels good.
Yes.
I I did not have my initial reaction, which was like, ooh, ooh, ooh. I didn't say anything. And I let her continue rubbing her self. I mean, she was in her clothes and everything. Well, then she started doing it more often. And I just had the conversation with her at like 5, 4, 5, that listen, I know that feels good, doesn't it? She was like, yeah, it feels good. I'm like, that's great. You just can't do it in the living room. You do it, in your
Exactly.
bedroom.
Not for Christmas morning.
Like, let's just not do it like when, and it was just a phase and she quit doing it and it wasn't sexual. She was 5.
At all, do you know how many kids do that and parents freak out and
Freak.
like,
Hmm.
oh my gosh, something's wrong with my child. I'm like,
Yeah, no.
no, it feels
It
good.
feels good. And Steve and I had the conversation as parents. We're like, listen, we can't freak out. I don't, it'll scar her for life. I don't want her to be in therapy later, or not having sex later because mom and dad yelled at her and screamed at her.
That is what I'm talking about, like
Yeah.
having appropriate conversations for their age. But the goal is for young women not to feel embarrassed or uncomfortable or feel like these topics are taboo.
Yeah.
That's why those two chapters specifically were included,
We didn't have to
100%.
So
talk about all the
I
other
think this is so. I actually have a moment that happened this week that I was like, heck yes. So I do think there is a really healthy shift happening with these young
Mhm.
girls that they are being like, so I have a pimple. Who cares? I have a period. Like
Literally.
They're
we've
wearing,
Yeah.
talked about the pimple
yeah,
patches
they're putting
Right.
stickers on
they wear all over their
it.
face. Well, this girl came to the nurse's office at the school, and I guess she had started her period or something. And she walked her butt back to class holding like 3 pads.
Right.
And somebody was like, "Do you want to put that in a bag?" She's like, "No, I'm good."
Yeah,
And I was like,
Why would she do that?
"Yes,
I do.
Exactly.
I
for
do
you."
see a little bit of shift. When Adelaide started her period, she immediately texted 2 of her besties and was like, I started my period, and like, so I do
Moms are doing
think,
period parties now. Like when their girls start their period for the first time, they host a party.
really.
That
Now,
I could
Yes,
not
like
do.
no,
I mean, I have
it's
Rue
always,
a
would be
thing.
like, "Mom."
Please, right?
I did tell Rue, which I told her we won't do a party or anything. I said, but when you start your period, especially because I work up at the school, I was like, you get to have a free day. And she was like, really? And I
Exactly.
go, we'll go to the movies, we'll go get ice cream, whatever you want to do. And she
Oh,
was like,
a
and then
dream.
she decided, she's like, I'm going to keep my free day for later. I'm going to hold that one in. I was like, okay,
Smart girl,
yeah,
smart girl. Exactly. But I just think that's so important. We have to shift. Even I remember even one of the stories is just how common we apologize
oh
about
my
random
gosh, I love
things.
that.
mm-hmm.
Like we'll just be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Can I why are we like why is it so common tongue for us to apologize?" And Amy, like every time I hear I'm like, "Stop apologizing. You didn't do anything
Yeah,
wrong."
yeah.
It is like my goal. Can't stand it when young women apologize and you
They
didn't do
admit it. It's
anything.
women. The dudes aren't out
Mhm.
there doing it.
No.
I get on my daughter about this all the time because if I've asked her to pick up her clothes or put away her clothes 3 times and she hasn't done it, then she can be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'll do it." That's an
Correct.
apology.
Right.
If I'm like, "Hey girl, what do you want for dinner?" "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. What do I want for dinner?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not. Do not apologize to me. I just asked you what you want for dinner."
Yeah,
It's so like
It's like, "Why are you doing that?"
it just comes so naturally. And that is the biggest frustration. We're just I don't know. I guess that part of this book too is just like I guess I slid that part in like female empowerment. I am such a
well,
feminist. And
yeah. Well,
so
you
I
do
couldn't help
have
it.
you've got some letters in there, like Miss Independent. Like you've got
Yeah.
that in there. Um, that is kind of a female empowerment thing.
I can't help it. I can't
And
it's
really,
just
even like I said, the sex talk, you don't really say it, but I got the vibe like we're taking our power back.
Yeah,
100%.
Because you
A
said like
hundred
make your own decision, but make the
make your
decision for
decision.
you, not him.
And make an informed one.
Yeah,
Exactly. And I do talk about just how oftentimes you end up in a situation because you want to keep the boy happy or you want, you're doing it for him. And then you oftentimes leave feeling like, why did I do that?
right.
Hmm.
Why that was the wrong decision. And so yeah, I think a lot of it is just about taking our power back. I think maybe look at this is a revelation. I think a lot of it, especially in my youth, I felt powerless. I felt like a lot of things were out of my control. I felt like, because at that age your parents make most of the decisions for you, right? Like kind of where you go to school, you pick your friends and like the boys you like, but a lot of it just in general is out of your control. You don't have a lot of power. And so I think I felt super powerless. And so maybe that this book was about that too, learning
But
to take my own power back.
I think that's hitting the nail on the head because even you just said that you pick your friends. No, you don't. Not in the beginning. When
That's
I've got
true.
little kids, I'm like,
That's
these are
true.
your friends because I like their mother.
And that's a fact. That
And
maybe
so
you're
not
you're
until
just
middle school, you're like, wait, I think I want my own, like, I want to be friends with
and
that person because I want to be friends with that person.
And even still, it's proximity, right? Like you
Yeah.
didn't go out and like put on a friend application and say, I want this. Like, no, proximity kind of chooses that for you. So that's very true. You do, just as a young person, a lot of things are out of your control just by how the world works.
I think that's
Um,
nail on the head. That's very insightful. I love that.
yeah.
So, do you see a sequel in your future or maybe another book?
I will say definitely not a sequel. Definitely not a sequel. I think this one is done. I think I've said
Yeah.
about this specifically all the things that I need to say. I feel really good about because even when I look at it now, I'm like, wow, okay, you actually said that. You actually said that. And like a lot of things I even feel differently now on just because I'm in a different place in life. But storytelling is something that I truly enjoy doing. I mean, I think it's why I love theater so much is because I get to tell stories all the time. So writing is something that I would love to do more of. I mean, to be honest, I have a few stories, fictional stories that I'm just kind of sitting in the vault. Clearly, it took me 15 years to write this one. So I have some that are in the vault. I just do not have
Get
the
them out.
the time to write. I know the time to write that I
I
want,
know.
but I would love to pursue writing more seriously in the future. That's the goal.
Well, I think we were joking when we had it in our notes here to ask you, but now that I we've talked about it, you could make this into like a little stage adaptation, a little play,
Here. Just gonna say that you should make it into a
a
play.
one act play or something. Anyway,
Be so cool.
I think
Probably see like, and it's so funny you say that because I want to figure out a way to combine the things that I love to do, which is theater and writing. And I've been talking about writing like a stage play for a while. Here's the thing, right? Seeing people read my book is one thing. Oh, I don't know if I could watch someone portray me like going through
oh
this. That
yeah,
would be in
going through
that
it
that would be very
that.
I probably would cringe and like watch it like this the whole time. Like I don't know. But it'd be fun. I think it'd be cool.
But you are a great storyteller. I mean, I've seen all, especially just all the shows you've directed. Like you are a great storyteller, and this book shows it
And
too.
this is like what's the movie? Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. Second
Yes.
stage.
Oh no, it's truly.
Yeah,
Hey, y'all might have just sparked something.
very
Well,
good.
there was a whole thing. What did
Absolutely.
I just see a post that was like, "Where's the Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret, for menopause?" Because Margaret's got some stuff going on.
Okay. No,
Well,
truly.
also, I don't think Amanda, you know, but Jay is actually getting married here in a couple months.
I
Yay!
am. I
There it is.
am. Actually, not even a couple months. Next month. I think we're like
Oh yeah,
35
like a month.
days out. Like it's less than
Oh
40
my
days
gosh, that's
out.
so exciting.
Yes.
Yay! Yes,
Super exciting.
it's so
Yeah.
exciting. Our listeners can't see it, but she's got one heck of a ring on her finger. It's
I
very.
do. He did a good job.
Yes, he
He
did.
really did a good job. Yeah.
He's not the boys in the chapters that Jay.
None of the boys in the chapter, which
Our
is so
listeners
funny
know.
because the next story that I was planning on writing after that, which is really insane, is I had to wait for it to be finished. It's finished now. Is like about my online dating journey because it was
Mm.
trash. And so I wanted to write about all of I mean, let's just say I accidentally matched with a white witch, but that's neither here nor there. So
Hey,
yeah,
listen,
so
that is the sequel for
right.
all the ladies that are in the, because online dating, like that's relevant. That's what everybody does now.
Exactly.
And
And so I
It's
had
the
to like,
only way to do it. You're not going to meet the person you want in a bar
but I
no,
anymore.
but I feel like they need a Dear Diary with those lessons too.
exactly. So that's the next one. And now that I found my person, I have been waiting for the story to be finished. The story is finished because he'll be the last chapter.
Yeah,
So
that's great. I love
I'll
it.
get on it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. We love you. I adore you.
Thank you.
And you need to be really proud of what you've created. This is like a great, great book.
Thank you
Friends,
for that.
go grab Dear Diary, Letters to My Daughter. We'll have the link in the show notes and we'll put it on Instagram too.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This was amazing. It was so nice to talk about something that I am really proud of, and kind of revisit some of those moments and those the reason why I wrote it. So I appreciate it. I'm excited. Now I gotta get on my marketing and like get back at it.
And you can share this episode
I
and
will.
ebook. So
I will. Thank y'all.
thank you. And thank you for listening to Bronze Medal Moms. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to our moms on Bronze Medal Moms.
Don't forget to subscribe, share with your friends, and leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you. See you soon.